Number of Canadian cannabis users relatively unchanged since legalization, Statcan says.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ottawa. The National Statistics Offices says legalizing cannabis doesn't seem to have much changed how many people use the drug. Figures released this morning from Statistics Canada show about 4.6 million people, or 15% of Canadians over age 15, reported using cannabis in the last 3 months. Statistics Canada says that nearly 1 in 5 Canadians, or 19%, believe they will use cannabis in the next 3 months, a higher figure than those who reported current use. Nearly half of Canadians who reported using cannabis said they did so for non-medical reasons, while 1/4 say they used it for medicinal purposes. The National Cannabis Survey also shows that non-medical cannabis users were less likely to buy cannabis legally, with only 26% saying they bought it from authorized retailers or online producers. The statistics agency reports that 42% of non-medical users say they obtained cannabis illegally, such as through drug dealers, compassion clubs, unlicensed dispensaries or storefronts, and unlicensed websites.
This post received a score of 5,703, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
As someone who grew up hearing that cannabis had to be illegal because it was a gateway drug that led to more drug use, I find this funny. Apparently legalization isn't even a gateway to pot.
It's a gateway drug to PC blue cheese flavor chips though face with steam from nose face with steam from nose.
We're talking Canadian pot, so obviously it's a gateway to all dressed chips.
Dressed all over.
Zesty mordant. Jaw lopino.
I had to say this out loud 4 times before I realized you mean jalapeno. You bastard.
So the number of people who used weed illegally, flouting the pointless law, is the same that use it after it was legalized? Is this really a shock? Most people who wanted to smoke weed, did, regardless of the illegality, and society was okay with that more or less, which is why we got rid of the law in the first place. Now it's legal and the same percentage of people still think it's okay. I imagine it might slowly increase as people stop drinking alcohol in favor of weed, which is much less dangerous overall, but I wouldn't have expected a big change really.
Also, having no physical retail stores in Canada's most populous province did no favours.
Greater than also having no physical retail stores in Canada's most populous province did no favours. No legal physical retail stores in Ontario. But hey, they gave out 25 licenses to potentially set up legal physical stores for a population of 14 million. Ontario open for business. I read an article after the 25 were given out via their lottery process. A guy they spoke to has no background in cannabis and has no idea how to run a dispensary. He said so himself. Soon enough we'll see the licenses being sold to the highest bidders just like the taxi licenses in Toronto. What a joke. I regret not joining the legal dispensary lottery, better odds than 649 and Lotto Max.
Proof that Canadians only obey the law if it coincides with what they were already doing.
That is the French gene in the Canadian genome.
Les lois ne sont elles pas seulement des suggestions.
Anti-legalization myths are dropping like flies these days.
I can't wait for the days those anti-vax or their breeds dropping like flies as well. Oh wait.
Fuck those parents, too bad their kids suffer.
At least they won't suffer for long.
There has also not been any weed-related accidents. All those high drivers on the roads they told us about, where are they?
It was fear-mongering. Legalization actually makes roads safer by reducing the amount of people driving under the influence of alcohol. Conservatives needed something to keep us in fear though, so they chose this, which allowed an overreaching government to pass new laws around driving under the influence of marijuana, in spite of the fact that there is no reliable way to test impairment from marijuana and b. there is no evidence that I have seen showing marijuana impaired driving ability. They are not going to test people for being under the influence of opioids while driving.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.